Strategy number one, you look like a high-quality professional. Now, if I stood before you and my clothes were dirty and so forth and so on, would you be interested in what I had to say today? No. So look your best. Look your best. Look the part, and if you can, look above the part. You know, in corporate America, when I was in corporate America, we were always told you dress for the position that you would like to have. We do the same thing as entrepreneurs. Let's dress it. We want to be that $1 million entrepreneur. Let's look as close to $1 million as we can. So look like a professional is strategy number one. Strategy number two is to act big on a small budget. And I'm going to give you an example. Ladies, we went to Macy's. We saw this gorgeous dress. It was $220. But our budget says, no, we can't quite afford that. So what do? We watch that dress. And we wait for it to go on sale for $50. So what did we just do? We acted big on a small budget. So when we wore that $220 dress, we know that we paid $50, but we were able to act big. So that's what I want you to do. There's an old philosophy that says fake it until you make it.
Yes.
I don't necessarily believe in that because you don't want anything to be fake. Everything that you do, you truly want that to be who you are. So instead of saying fake it till you make it, just practice acting big on a small budget. Okay? Okay. Strategy number three, be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And this is again where forming collaborations and strategic alliances is so important. This is where that mate comes along because you guys are charting a course at the same time. And if you haven't formed collaborations, if you haven't started to develop those strategic alliances, that's going to be critical in growing your business. So start to look at how can you form those relationships now. Strategy number four, seek money, but you build wealth. Okay? You want to always go after new clients, but you always focus on your existing clients more. Because remember, they are your bread and butter. Those are the ones you take care of no matter what. So you go after new clients, that's how you get your money, but you build your wealth with your existing clients and then also within yourself. You invest in yourself. Strategy number five, this one I love, I'm just big on investing in self-worth. You've got to put money into yourself. If you want to grow, if you want to expand, if you want to do all these great things, you've got to put money into personal development. Whatever it is you need to learn, you invest in it. You know, we will invest in our shoes, we invest in getting our nails done. We always want these great, hairstyles. Take some time sometimes and say, okay, I may have to give up some things to invest in myself for personal growth. And that's going to be critical. Always invest in your own self-worth. And strategy number 5.5, leverage for high net worth. Whatever you do, once you know it, then I want you to show it. Become that master so that in whatever you do, and once you've got it, then you begin to show it so everybody can recognize you as a leader in who you are. Okay, now, so we got our GPS, we got our W5, we talked about some things that you can do, some success strategies. We've talked about how to get new clients. Now I want to talk about how do you create some big wows. People buy because there's a wow factor. That's how people want to spend their money. So when we're talking about creating a big wow, you must have something that you can say to someone that they can get it. And that's your unique selling proposition. You don't, call it that, but it's just in the course of a conversation. And in that unique selling proposition, you should be able to tell them what you offer, who's your target market, what are the benefits, what makes you unique. Because that's the key factor. Either you're a generalist in which everybody can offer the same thing, or do you set yourself apart by that unique factor. And the last thing, what value do you bring? Because if there is no value, why would I want to spend my money? If there's nothing unique about you, why should I pay you more and you can't tell me that uniqueness when I can go to someone else and pay the same thing? So at minimum, have your unique factor and have what makes you valuable. Does everybody have a unique selling proposition? Does it cover those 5 areas? Okay, very good. And that's what's going to be critical. And whenever you talk, you say the same thing over and over again. It's always going to be about consistency. So when you're talking to someone about what you do, you never deviate from that. Because remember, people, after you hear something so many times, 7 to 14 times, then our light bulb kind of comes on and we say, oh, okay, I think I may want to do that. So consistency is the key, and that's why having a unique selling proposition is so important. Number 2, draw outside the lines. And this is where you do different things and you do things differently. So whatever it is that I'm doing in business, Marion may be doing the same thing, but I have crafted mine so that mine is just a little bit different. And then when I do something different, then I turn around and do the things that I do in a different manner. So you do different things and you do things differently. That's when you set yourself apart, and that's when people begin to recognize you, and that's when people will begin to invest money with you over someone else, because you are truly doing something different. So that's where we draw outside of the lines. The next thing to really make us pop is to get your P's in a fit, fine, and fabulous state. And that is your presence, your positioning, know where you are in the marketplace. If you've got a product or service, it deals with your packaging, your promoting, and also who do you partner with. So what's going to be critical are the 5 P's. I'm going to go over them again. Your presence, your position, your package, your promotion, and who you partner with. If you've got those 5 P's, it's going to help you become fit, fine, and fabulous in career, business, and life. The next is to move from a state of selling. Change your conversation from a selling conversation to a value conversation. How much easier is it for me if I wanted to talk to Michelle and I start talking to her about the value of my service versus me saying to her, you know, you should buy my program, it's $14.95. But if I'm saying to her, this is the value that it's going to bring. This is what it can do for you short term. This is what it will do for you long term. I would have her attention, I think, a lot quicker than I'm saying to her, well, this is $14.95, let's sign on the dotted line. She's probably going to tune me out, but when I'm talking about something that she can relate to, how it's going to help her get to where she wants to be, then she is going to hear the conversation. So when you have that conversation, you strive for a balance between the sales and the value. So that's how you sell someone. Make sure that it's value packed. Next is craft a memorable money phrase. So whenever you're closing the sale, you want to talk about the value, but the idea is still to close the sale. So you define the things that you're going to do. You're going to talk about it in a compelling way. You're going to review it so that it really makes good sense. And if you have to test market it with a few people, you do that. So when I'm talking about closing the sale, notice what I said before. I'm talking about the value it's going to bring to her. I'm talking about what it's going to do for her short term, what it's going to do for her long term, what type of business results she can expect. And when I do that, I'm steadily closing, but I'm really, from her perspective, it's not I'm closing. I'm not saying, let's sign on the dotted line. And so after I've gone through all of that, at that point I can say to her, is this kind of what you were looking for? Is this the path that you want to take? At that point, I'm going to get a yes from her because I've identified her needs. I've told her what we're going to do. how it's going to take place, and so I've got to buy it. And that's how you change the conversation so that it is a money phrase, is the way that you're going to start closing your sales. Okay? The next way to, oh, we're going to learn how to pop. That was our wows. Those are things you do to wow. And now we're going to talk about how do we pop. Pop tip number 1 is know your ABCs. And that is accentuate your best assets. Whatever you do, bring out your best. Number 2, create a balance. Can we go back to 1? Go back.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 is the B. Balance your message from the inside out and from head to toe. And the C is to camouflage anything that you don't want other people to know. Okay, so those are your ABCs. That's tip number 1. And learn to accentuate, balance, and camouflage. Okay. Pop tip number 2, model top producers. Find those that are role models that are successful in your field and learn to model what they do. For example, if there's someone that has really done some great things, don't reinvent the wheel. Just look at the things that they're doing. Take that uniqueness and the things that they do and craft it and make it into something that's your own. Start to brand your difference, but don't reinvent. Look at what they're doing because obviously they're successful, and so that's a great way for you to be successful as well. Top tip number 3, achieve mastery. Whatever you do, become a master. Okay? Whatever your specialty is with Sharon, I mean, she's excellent at writing. I mean, I remember I bought her first book.
She did.
10 years, 20, 15 years old. And I still have that book. And she's a master at poetry. I mean, that book, I was so blessed with it. But she crafted that skill. She became a master at what she did. And so whatever it is your specialty, turn it into a mastery. Pop tip number 4, create a client experience with a personal touch. People buy experiences. Starbucks, what do they sell? The experience. Disney World, we go there for what reason? The experience. So whatever you do, learn to create an experience around it because people want experiences. And my last tip, get rid of the one-size-fit-all business and career model and create a custom-fit model for your business so that you can have growth and for your career so that your career can be successful. So in wrapping up, most personal trainers' goals are for us to have tight toned arms, shapely thighs, a strong, sexy core, and a backside that won't quit. Okay? So, but however, my challenge to you is to develop a tight and toned product and service offering, create a shapely, well-crafted positioning statement and tagline. Next, craft a strong, sexy business and marketing plan for massive growth and develop a backside for positioning yourself as an expert or as a specialist. Finally, spend some time reviewing, and I want you to redefine where you are, look at your GPS, work on your W-5s, and figure out where you are now and where you want to go. And when you do that, you learn to leverage what it is that you have. You will end up having a banner year for 2011, and it will carry you a long ways for 2012. So, having said all of that, I am also sponsoring a